there were there was a report this week that the Nuggets, our Nuggets, have not ruled out Michael Porter Jr. for the season. Um, like his status has been up in the air. If
Yeah.
MPJ does end up coming back, and it seems like Murray is rehabbing pretty well from the ACL tear from some of the videos we've seen and stuff, what where do the Nuggets like end up in the West? Because there's right now in the sixth seed with Jokic playing like an MVP and not too much else.
Yeah.
If they add two All-Star caliber players back to their team, I like them better than the Mavs. I like them better than a lot of the teams ahead of them in the standings right now.
I think, but I'm going to say something that kind of contradicts their age, but they have enough playoff experience where they could go out on the road and get the W's. You know what I mean? Like they've been playing in the playoffs the last 2 years, been having decent runs also in the playoffs, winning playoff series, and they just have that playoff experience where road games aren't going to affect them as much as like a first time playoff team like Minnesota or the Sacramento, for example, right? Like those are teams to where you can see the difference between road games and home games. But
Mm,
when you have like Jokic, Jamal Murray and stuff, like those two guys can steady the ship and make sure road games don't affect them too much. It's just making sure these two guys, Jamal Murray and MPJ, get enough reps so they're 100% come playoff time. Because yeah, they can return for the playoffs. But if their
yeah,
first game is like game 3 of the first round,
yeah,
they're not going to be anywhere near 100% until like the conference finals if you make it, right?
yeah.
I think Jamal Murray's expected for a March return, and he has a windmill dunk that he posted, and the Nuggets posted on their social media. So it looks like he's on target for that March return. And if he returns in March, he should have enough reps to get back to 100% come playoff time. MPJ, we've seen no videos of him, so
Hmm.
that's a little scary. Like, is he shooting in the gym? Like, is he playing 1-on-1? Like, what is
Yeah.
he cleared for? What is he not cleared for? How's everything going? So it's all speculation. But if he comes around at the same time, then man, the Nuggets, in my opinion, they could beat the Suns, they could beat the Jazz, and they could give the Warriors a run for their money, and they can actually be title contenders. Like that's how much I like this team with both those guys back inserted into the lineup, fully healthy. Because you're talking about players like Will Barton being the fourth
Yeah.
option, and you're talking about Aaron Gordon now becoming the fifth option. Like that becomes one of the best starting lineups and one
Mhm.
of the deepest starting lineups in the league. And then you have Monty Morris, who potentially becomes the best six man. Like
Yeah.
that's how good this team
Yeah.
will become with everyone sliding down. And you have Jeff Green off the bench, Jermichael
Bones
Green off the
Highland.
bench,
Yeah.
Bones Highland, Composo off the bench. Like this team becomes elite, becomes deep. And yeah, if these two guys return and they come back 100%, title contenders.
Yeah, totally agree. That the fully healthy Nuggets, I personally think, are the best team in the West. Like, I maybe not
I think so too.
throughout, maybe not like record wise throughout the course of the regular season, even if they were fully healthy, but in a playoff series, I think I would take them over any other team in the West. And
Yeah.
if even if we're talking about like let's
The
say it's just
Warriors.
Murray that comes back, let's say it's only Murray, I think I would take them maybe third, just
Yeah.
behind the Warriors and Phoenix, and I think they'd have a good series with both. So talk about getting both those guys back, even if MPJ is like playing, I don't know, 20 minutes a game and Murray's like at 85% or 90%. If you have Jokic and like anyone who's like a capable player who can
Yeah.
have a good game here and there, who can have like a 25, 30 point game here and there, you're gonna win a lot of playoff games. So yeah, I mean a March return for Murray, that gives him plenty of time to get ramped up come playoff time, right? So
Yeah.
we'll see.
And people have to forget how good like Jamal Murray is sometimes. Like this
Yeah.
guy, he's an elite shooter. He could get his own basket. Like in the bubble, he was literally playing like Michael Jordan esque. Like
Mm-hmm.
this guy could just go off and he's just does it come playoff time. Like he's one of those playoff performers
Yeah.
who does it. And once Jamal Murray, I mean, like once Jokic has a 25-point scorer and
Yeah.
like Jamal Murray or near 25-point scorer, it just opens up the game so much for him because
Mm-hmm.
it's going to reduce doubling, all that stuff. Everything's just going to come, it's just going to fall in order. And
Yeah.
that's all they need. And man, we thought it was going to be next year where they come back, they're like battling and they're like ready to take on the Warriors who potentially look like the championship favorites. We'll get
Mm-hmm.
into that the next segment. But yeah, they look crazy. But this Nuggets team, man, they're the dark horse. They're obviously our favorite team out in the West. So we're going to be
Yeah.
rooting for them. And man, it's just gonna be something fun to see.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here so you never miss the best clips from Stretch the Floor. Hit the links in the description below to find us on all podcast platforms, and follow us on Instagram.